Welcome to Startup Hack. I'm Spencer Thomason, and here at Startup Hack, we love to train software developers and build custom software solutions. So I do a lot of work as a fractional CTO. With over a decade of executive leadership and a solid 25 years in software development, I've mastered the art of transforming technology teams and products. So today I want to dive into how I would approach learning to code if I were to start over again. Yep, if I had to start with absolutely nothing, with everything I've learned, this is the path that I'd take to become a rockstar developer in today's landscape. So let's dive in. Okay, so if I had to start over again, the very first thing I would do is focus on problem-solving skills. Coding is more than just writing a line of code. It's about solving real-world problems. Whether you're building an app or debugging a tricky issue, problem-solving is at the very heart of every task. I wouldn't rush into learning syntax or frameworks. Instead, I'd train myself to break down problems, think logically, and develop strategies for tracking complex tasks. Once you've got that down, the coding part becomes much easier. So next, I'd pick one programming language and really stick with it until I'm comfortable. Jumping between languages too soon is a recipe for confusion, and ultimately, it's actually a recipe for not getting really good at any of them. So I would definitely recommend starting with C#. I think it's a language that is tried and true. I think it gives you a really good syntax to work with, and I think it's very versatile across platforms. I also think it's one that's proven the test of time. It's been around for long over 20 years. And at this point, I think it's backed by Microsoft. And so I think you're really safe to really dive into and stick with C#.net, right? From there, you can also build into a lot of other things, right? Because C# can be run as a background program. It can be run on Linux. It can be obviously run in the web with ASP.NET. So there's a lot of things that you can do with me. So once you understand one language, then you can start to learn into other languages. Now, trust me, focus here is key. So if I had to start from scratch, I'd make sure that I learned version control early, especially Git. When I first started, managing code changes was much more chaotic, but today, version control is a must-have skill. Getting help, Git helps you to track changes, collaborate with others, and avoid the dreaded, well, it worked yesterday scenario, because you can always go in and check what changed since yesterday. So once you've got the hang of it, you'll wonder how you ever lived without it. And hey, it's one of those skills that make you look like a pro really early on. So I would definitely tell juniors and people, if I had to start over again, to really make sure they master Git. Now, we have some training videos on Git as well as other things, so make sure you check out our previous coding samples because we provide hundreds, yes, hundreds of totally free code samples. We don't even require an email to get to them. It's just on GitHub. You can check out our previous code videos, and we have pretty much every subject you want because we have almost 500 coding samples out there. Now, here's something else I wish I knew that I'd done more when I'd started, was building projects early and on. Tutorials are great, but if you only follow tutorials, you'll hit a ceiling fast. Projects gives you the freedom to make mistakes, solve problems, and learn by doing. And I tell developers all the time, if you want to learn to code, just start coding, right? Start small, maybe with a to-do app or some simple website. As you gain confidence, you'll increase the complexity of your projects. Real coding experience comes from hitting roadblocks and figuring out how to overcome them, not from watching somebody else do coding videos. Now, another skill I'd prioritize is learning to Google effectively. Now, seriously, it's no joke. This is a total superpower in coding. You're not going to know everything, and that's okay. The important thing is knowing when and how to search for solutions, read documentation, and leverage community resources like Stack Overflow and other great resources. The ability to quickly find and understand solutions is a key every great developer needs. So remember, it's not about memorizing everything. It's about knowing where to look. And using Google and using ChatGPT and other tools can help you. It's not going to be the end-all be-all, though. So also, if I'd go back, I'd learning on debugging, right? Figure out how to learn all the ins and outs of your debugger, right? I wish I'd known sooner that debugging is not a sign of failure. It's part of the job. So when you're starting out, it's easy to get discouraged when your code doesn't work. But let me tell you, debugging is where the magic happens. It's where you truly learn how your code works or doesn't. Every error is an opportunity to understand the inner workings of your program better. So embrace the bugs. They're your greatest teachers. Some of the best developers I know are the ones who learn how to set up debugging environments quickly and use them frequently. So I'd also still learn on focusing simple data structures early on. Things like arrays, lists, stacks, dictionaries. These are the things, and understanding these fundamentals and how to use the built-in data structures, the simple data structures of every language, will make learning more complex concepts later on much easier. Data structures, the building blocks of programming. Linus Torvalds said, the founder of Linux, and probably one of the best minds in computer science, says that understanding data structures is the single most important thing you can do as a developer. So once you understand how to use them efficiently, you'll be able to solve more complex problems with less efforts. So don't skip over this. It's foundational to becoming a strong developer. So take time, learn those data structures. So again, if I had to start over, I'd get comfortable with the command line right from the start. GUIs are great, but the command line gives you much more control and flexibility. And ultimately, every GUI has a command line underneath it. So command lines are also faster for many tasks once you know the commands. For instance, if you're using Git, there's hundreds of different UIs for Git. But at the end of the day, understand what Git is doing and understand it at the command line. So from navigating directories to running scripts, mastering the command line is one of those skills that will make you a more efficient and confident developer. The sooner you learn it, the more productive you'll be. Also, make sure you go back and check out our previous videos because we have hundreds of free coding samples. So make sure you check those out and make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Now, once I've mastered the basics, then I would start to dive into frameworks. That's really kind of the next thing. Is once you kind of feel like, yeah, okay, I've got the basics down, I've built some small apps, that's where you can start to look into some of the frameworks. Frameworks are fantastic for speeding up development and simplifying tasks, but they can also be overwhelming if you don't have a solid foundation. So whether you're looking at Angular, whether you're looking at jQuery, whether you're looking at React, any of these frameworks are important, and they're super important. Like, you've definitely got to learn them. But I'd focus on the frameworks that are widely used in the industry and that align with long-term goals and are backed by big projects, people like Google or Microsoft or others. But remember, don't run because you can walk, or don't run before you can walk. The basics come first, so make sure you have a good foundational knowledge. I hear all the time people saying, well, I'm starting with learning React. Like, that's really not where you start. So that's the first thing that I get concerned when I hear. Now, this might surprise you a bit, but one of the other most really important skills to learn to code is not just about code. Communication, teamwork, and problem solving are just as important. If I were to start over, I would prioritize learning how to work effectively in a team, how to communicate technical concepts to non-technical stakeholders, and how to think critically about the problem I'm solving. Developers with soft skills stand out. Trust me. Companies value that a lot. So don't just focus on the keyboard. Develop your people skills too. The last consulting job that we landed, the person who was hiring us told us that they liked our group because we actually understood more product and more business than we did even just technical. So they like a combination of both. So it's really important to make sure you understand those soft skills. Finally, if I had to start over, the last lesson I'd carry with me is to never stop learning. Technology is always changing, and what's cutting edge today might be obsolete tomorrow. So stay curious, be willing to learn new languages, frameworks, and tools, and never assume that you've made it. The best developers are the ones who are pushing themselves, keep growing, and never stop learning. Remember, coding is a journey, not a destination. And I've actually really started to look at a lot of things in life that way, because I guess it's because I'm getting a little bit older. Yeah, you can see the little bit of gray in my hair here, right? But the best, remember the coding, along with everything, with that, it's the journey. It's not the destination. So learning to code isn't just about picking up languages. It's about mastering problem solving, focusing on fundamentals, and continuously growing. So if I were starting over again, I would really dive in and build real-world projects, learn to debug like a pro, and prioritize both hard and soft skills. Stay curious, stay focused, and never forget the learning to code is as much about the journey as the destination. Now, what are your thoughts? Do you think there's ones that I have missed? Do you agree? Do you disagree? What are your thoughts? Because here at Startup Hack, we love to train software developers in our coding boot camps, which is now licensed, and we are working on some great, amazing opportunities for some ability to get funding for the coding boot camps for folks who want to dive in. We also we also build amazing custom softwares for company. So reach out, because we'd love to help if your company needs any kind of software integration. So if you find that one system isn't talking to another system, or you're doing a lot of swivel chair data entry, then make sure you hit us up, because we can help you to build some custom software that will really accelerate your company. So make sure you also check out our previous coding sample videos, because we do hundreds of free coding samples. So check it out, because we've got topic videos on almost every single topic. And otherwise, we will catch you guys next time. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, because we bring you lots of great tutorials and tips that every developer should know. See you next time.